We are now one more book in the Bible, and this is that book of Psalm, that praise book, that Old Testament praise book of which we can rejoice in. Many of those psalms that can minister to your heart, written from very real situation from the psalmist as he's going through certain situations. Sometimes it was the mountaintops, sometimes it was the valleys. You'll see a flow of emotions and him putting it onto the page. And certainly it was that expressed his heart and his emotions in song. It expressed his belief and his confidence in the Lord in song. It expressed his testimony of what he saw oftentimes in society, the threats that came to him, that which he must go to get victory. There is lots of practical application from the historical place of where the psalmist was when they penned the Psalms. And so I look forward to going through this book with you. Today it's Psalm 1 through 11. I would encourage you to look at onebaptist.org/devotional. Go to the very bottom and you'll see again where you can see Jesus all over the pages, yes, including the Psalms. And you'll see the Son, Jesus. I'll let the devotional show you how that is. But I love being able to see Jesus as the Son of who He is. And we certainly worship the Son of God. And I pray that you know Him, and more importantly, that He knows you. Now, as you'll note in the beginning, since this is the first Devo, you'll note at the very top, we kind of give you an overview of those 11 chapters, which kind of lets you see the approach of the psalmist to that of which he was penning. That approach will change throughout the Psalms as we go together. Sometimes you'll see it from that historical point that also has a prophetical application. Yes, prophecy all over the Psalms. Promise you, when we're done, you'll be able to know exactly when you're able to look at that which happened historically and that which is going to happen prophetically. And again, as always, the book of Psalms is probably one of the most practical books of the Bible where we can all go to when we can identify with that emotion that psalmist is going through at that time. Now, for time's sake, obviously 11 chapters, we won't be able to cover every single thing of every single chapter that you see every day. We'll cover a lot of it, but as today's Devo is, it concentrates on Psalm chapter 1. I'm going to leave the Devo to the preaching of it for you, but I would encourage you for your life to not miss it. The book of Psalms opens up and it says, "Blessed is the man that." Blessed, happy is the man that. And there's some that's, which gives exactly what the man, the woman who wants to walk in blessings, it talks exactly. It gives succinctly, and our Devo covers that very clearly for you. And then at the very end of it, it talks to you about the unblessed man, the happy man and the unhappy man, however you want to phrase it, but do know this. You see the practice of both. You see the power of both in the case of that second one, the lack of, and then you see the prosperity of both. And do understand when the Bible talks about prosperity, it's not talking about health and wealth, and it's not talking about how things will always go okay, if you will. Listen, we know better than that. We just finished a book of the Bible to know that every day walking with God is not always okay according to our flesh. But it does mean that you can walk, that I can walk a life and live a life that is for our good and for God's glory. That's a blessed life, and that is a life that indeed is that which would bring happiness. So I encourage you today to stop, read the chapters 1 through 11, but take time to read that Psalm chapter 1 a little heavier. Take the time of the Devo. Consider that which does provide the happy life and that which does not. In fact, you'll see a transition that says the ungodly are not so. The are not so is in contrast to everything that the godly is. The are not so is in contrast to everything that the happy man or happy woman is. There's a practice that leads to blessedness. I pray that you'll do that. That you'll walk that way. The way of the two choices presented, the two ways presented, the two paths or the two destinations of which they end. The choice is yours.